Hey guys, welcome to the Clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's video is going to be continuing my top 10 Star Wars list with number 3, Return of the Jedi. Now, this original trilogy, of course, is hard to, gauge, first, second, third, but I kind of put it together of how, what did I like the least and what did I like the best. And the only reason why I didn't like Return of the Jedi more than the other two is because I thought the Ewok stuff was a little wonky. Them defeating the Empire. It's become a meme on, social media and stuff like that today. But I can remember back in the day when the movie came out, I was like, Even though the rest of the movie is friggin' awesome. I mean, the whole Emperor, every scene with the Emperor is just top notch. I mean, it's back in the day, and I'm trying to judge this on how I felt when it came out compared to how I feel now. And, I watch all the Star Wars movies every year. Ridgely does the same thing. She watches all the Star Wars movies every year. It's our favorite franchise of all time. And the original trilogy is what made me become a film fan altogether, especially sci-fi. I like science fiction more than I like any other genre, and it's because of this original trilogy. It's just so good. You got the introduction to the best villain of all time, Darth Vader, and you have some of the best story of all time. Son fighting father, trying to bring balance between good and evil. It's just real basic tropes, that still work today. And it was just given to us in such a great way with the Star Wars trilogy, at least in my opinion. But as far as Return of the Jedi goes, I love Jabba in the beginning. I kind of hated that Boba Fett got done so wrong, and I know a lot of people think the same thing, but he was one of my favorite, unknown mysterious characters in Star Wars. And we got to see some of them in Empire Strikes Back, and I was excited that he was going to be back for Return of the Jedi. And what they do, they throw him down the Sarlacc pit. I mean, it was just ridiculous the way he went out. So that was something else I didn't like that they did. Besides the Ewok thing, I liked some of the Ewok stuff. I thought they were cute and it was cool, that, they found this culture that, lives in the woods and the trees, and they're vicious little animals. I mean, they kill people. They were going to eat our heroes. They're not these cute, they are cute, but they're not like teddy bears. They are vicious killing machines. And at the end of the movie, if you notice, they got the helmets of the stormtroopers at their bank, bonging the drums to, and they probably ate those people. They're probably eating them at that dinner that they're having. But I always thought about that, and and just to let you know that I'm judging this, on my top 10 list. As far as the original trilogy goes, I'm judging this on the original story, and movies, not the remastered. The remasters are crap. Don't ever watch them if you can help it, Just the original trilogy, the way it was originally done, Han shot first, all that good stuff, but none of this stuff they put in years later, that George Lucas threw together because that's the way he wanted it back in the day, but it didn't work, and it didn't work for a reason. That's why they took it out, but then he put it back in, and it made it ridiculous, and they just added a bunch of stupid CGI stuff that they did not need, and it stands out, and it's stupid, and it's silly. I hate the stuff they did in the remastered, so I'm not judging this on the remastered versions of the original trilogy, just the way the original trilogy came out. But anyway, that being said, I was upset with the whole Boba Fett thing, and but what I do love is that the end battle at the end of Return of the Jedi is one of the best space battles in film history, in my opinion. So I really liked that, and I liked how the conflict was going on outside of the Death Star, going on inside the Death Star with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor, and the conflict was going down on the planet Endor. You know, it was all kind of happening all at the same time at the end, and I thought that was really cool. You know, just watching it jump from scene to scene to scene, and that's one of the things that Star Wars, at least the original trilogy, did, is that you could have multiple things going on and you weren't like lost in the story. You know, it was all happening at the same time and you understood it, and it was filmed well and directed well, and that way you could keep up with all this stuff going on without being lost. And that was another thing that I was always been proud of, is this original trilogy, especially Return of the Jedi at the end, when everything's going on and you are just sucked into everything that's going on, and they showed it to you in a great way. And you know, Luke fighting Vader, you know, and you know, it's not my favorite lightsaber battle scene. I know a lot of people love that scene, but if you rewatch it, you know, it's really just bam, 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 bam. You know, it's not really a lot of style to it. You know, wasn't really choreographed well, in my opinion. Now, I did like the whole father versus son dynamic, you know, and then he's trying not to fight him, and Darth Vader's just like, you know, antagonizing him, you know, just keep on, you know, poking him, you know, oh, if you won't turn, then your sister will. And when he says that, and Luke Skywalker is like, no, and it comes at Darth Vader, you know, that's him tapping into the dark side. So you see this hero that has been, you know, on the good side this whole entire time, and I will not turn. He turns for a minute, well, not necessarily turns, but uses and taps into the dark side power. That's how he was able to just come down on Vader and just keep on and on and on, cut his hand off, and see, you know, destiny is lining up. And you know, he knew, in the look on his face, you know, like he was getting ready to kill his father if he would have kept on going with the dark side, but he didn't, so he could defeat the Emperor. And of course the Emperor, you know, well, if you will not be turned, you know, then I will kill you. And he starts zapping him with lightning, and I love the whole lightning scene because it gets his teeth. If you go back and watch it, it like shocks his teeth, Luke Skywalker's teeth, and for some reason I just get a kick out of that. He's like struggling, no, and every time he looks back like this, it's like, you know, I just love that scene for some reason. It makes me laugh, even though it's so emotional. And that's another reason why I hate the remastered, because the remastered has Darth Vader going, no, and then he picks up the Emperor, no, and throws him into the pit. You didn't need all that no stuff. I mean, it was just ridiculous that they put that in. It's so much more powerful when he's looking at Luke and looking at the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, pew, pew, just getting stronger and stronger, and the lightning is just killing Luke and just getting him. And, you know, Darth Vader's just thinking about it, my son or my mentor, my son or my mentor, and he chooses his son, and he picks up and throws the Emperor in, and bam, evil is defeated. And you just love that and he watches him. He has to watch the Emperor go down, because that's how powerful his hold was on Vader. You know, he could not obey his master, you know, because he was just such an emotional connection, which they show in the original trilogy. I mean, not the original trilogy, but the prequels, you know, show why that was. And that's one of the things I did like about the prequels. It showed that whole dynamic between Anakin and Palpatine before he became the Emperor. But anyway, that being said, those are the reasons why I like Return of the Jedi, why it's number 3, but also why it's not, you know, number 1 or number 2. You know, even though I consider the whole original Star Wars trilogy one story, and all of it could be number 1 in my opinion, because they're some of the best movies ever made in history. But where is it on your list? You know, how many times have you seen Return of the Jedi? If you're watching this video, you're probably a big fan of Star Wars, and you know, but I'm curious where Return of the Jedi is on your list. Some people it's number 1, you know, some people it's number 2, some people it's number 10, it's their least favorite. But anyway, and I've talked to a lot of people, you know, to get their kind of gauge of where they think of Return of the Jedi is. But that's where it is for me at number 3. So let me know in the comments below what you think of Return of the Jedi. Remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, make yourself happy every day. And the only way to do that is to remember the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!